Hi, my name is Lady Bexilla, and welcome to my very first ever Minecraft video. So, I'm currently waiting on 1.14 to update so that it's not so glitchy, so that I can start a single player survival world. But while I'm waiting, I figured I might as well create a video that's a little bit artsy fartsy and a little tutorial-esque. So today I'm going to be explaining color theory via Minecraft. So if you have trouble creating a color palette for your builds, or you kind of get stuck halfway through trying to figure it out, this video might be for you. I'm going to explain some color theory, some color schemes, and then also how you can implement them in your own builds. So stick around. So let's start with the color wheel. This is your pretty basic color wheel, although it's got a little bit of issue. You can notice that it's not very symmetrical. Some portions have more colors than others, and that's because colors are a little bit limited in Minecraft. They've gotten a whole lot better in the last several updates. We've had wool for a long time, but now we have terracotta or stained clay as it used to be, and we have concrete. We have all kinds of really cool blocks with all kinds of colors now that we can play with. So the first thing to note when you're looking at a color wheel is your primary colors, and they are red, yellow, and blue, and they're known as the primary colors because every other color on the color wheel, or every other hue, I should say, can be created using these three base colors. So these are your primary colors. Let's go on to your secondary colors. So these are your secondary colors. They're orange, green, and purple. And they are what happens when you take your primary colors in equal amounts and mix them together. So an equal amount of red and yellow would equal orange, an equal amount of yellow and blue would equal green, and an equal amount of blue and red would make purple, at least hypothetically. And with those being out of the way, let's go on to what are called tertiary colors. So these are our tertiary colors. They're kind of the in-betweens. And in reality, our world is made up of tertiary colors. And when you study color theory in school, they'll be referred to as, say, a red-orange, or a yellow-green, or kind of they're mushed together into two words. We don't really call them that though. We call them lime green, or cyan, or teal, or turquoise, or violet, or indigo. But our world is made up of tertiary colors. Very rarely do you see a really vibrant primary color unless it's meant for a specific design. Our first wheel-based color scheme is called a complementary color scheme, and that is when two colors are opposite each other on the color wheel, and they tend to bring out the most in each other. So let's go look at a couple of examples. So over here we have orange and blue, which are our examples up on the wheel, but you'll notice that orange looks the most orange when it's next to blue, and blue looks the most blue when it's next to orange. You're interrupting my video, sheep. And what that's called when two colors bring out the most in each other is simultaneous contrast. And most of the time we see these in like sports colors. Like if you have a favorite sports team, you might see some colors that contrast really, really well. And it creates kind of an energetic and vibrant sort of feel. So if you're going to watch sports, they want you to be really excited and hyped up. So they use these very bright, vibrant colors that contrast each other. The other more common place that we see them, well, more common for me, probably not more common for most people, but is Christmas colors. So red and green we associate with Christmas, and they bring out the most in each other, which makes it a really unique and fun, festive color scheme. The second color scheme that we want to talk about is called analogous color scheme, and that's when you use 3 or 4 colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. And it's akin to a monochromatic color scheme, but not quite. And it creates kind of a calming, soothing effect because it's so simple and the colors just kind of blend together and there's not a huge contrast level like there is in complementary. So let's go look at a couple examples of this. So here we have red, orange, and yellow, which are next to each other. And then we also have blue and cyan and then green, which is a very chill kind of calming effect to it. Then we have kind of a magenta and then a purple and a blue. Maybe not quite as calming and serene, but still pretty chill. There's not a huge amount of contrast between these colors. And we do see this in Minecraft implemented already. You have, let's see, is this lime green? Yeah, lime glazed terracotta has yellow and then lime and then green, which are all next to each other. Magma blocks have kind of a deep red and then a reddish orange and then another orange. So those are all next to each other. And another really cool item that I found is got cyan, green, and then kind of a dark blue down at the bottom. And the enderpearl kind of creates this really mystical sort of effect when you look at the colors. So that is all analogous color scheme. The last wheel-based color scheme that we're going to look at is called split complementary, and it's very akin to complementary, but not nearly as like in your face as complementary is. So you would pick a base color. I've chosen green, and then you would pick the two colors next to its complement. So green's complementary color is red, but I've chosen kind of a red violet color and then kind of a reddish orange color because they are next to its complement. So let's go look at some of those. So here we have what I had just pointed out on the color wheel, which is the green, the kind of purplish red, and then a kind of reddish orange. And then we also have orange and then a teal and a very bluish purple. So those would be orange's complementary is blue. So teal is next to blue, so is kind of a bluish purple. And then up here we have teal with orange and a very light yellow. Teal's complementary would be kind of a vibrant yellow, so you would go on either side of yellow and get those colors. And to me, these remind me of kind of like HGTV home interiors. They're kind of a modern feel to them. They're very kind of hip, and these are actually kind of my favorite. I do something a little bit interesting, which is where I will pick two of them. So I'll go for green instead of going for red. I'll go next to red, and then I'll use a duochromatic or a dichromatic color scheme instead of a monochromatic color scheme. Color scheme, not color scream. Goodness. So, how in the heck? Oh, I didn't know these guys would. Okay, I have a trader now. Okay. So here's some examples of this in Minecraft that already exist. So we have glazed terracotta. You've got yellow and a couple shades of blue. You've got your orange and teal, and that's kind of what I was talking about. There's a couple shades of orange there, but it's mostly a duochromatic with some neutrals thrown in. This one, people could argue that it's actually just a bunch of neutral with a pop of color, which it is, but excuse me. You guys are all kinds of rude. Hello. And it is, but you could also argue that this particular format of brown is just a shade of a orangey yellow, in which case this would be a duochromatic that is based on split complementary. Here's another that is based on split complementary, and that is the end portal block. This guy, okay. And it's got kind of some shades of yellow and then teal and then dark blue. So let's go on to monochromatic. I've talked about dichromatic, but here's some monochromatic, which monochromatic just means to use the same color but different tints and shades of the same color. So here we have yellow and different shades and tints of yellow, which I'll talk about shades and tints here in a minute. Rude. We also have up here teal as a monochromatic color scheme. And yes, diamond is kind of more of a light blue, but it's got enough teal in it that it kind of goes with, and you have teal concrete, teal wool, or cyan, I'm sorry, cyan concrete, cyan wool, prismarine, um, and these can all kind of blend together. It's almost a boring color palette, but it's also very kind of easy on the eyes. And the easiest to make in Minecraft is, of course, green, because we have grass and plants and leaves, and then underneath all of my fun decorations, I have green terracotta, green concrete, lime terracotta, lime concrete, green and lime wool. They've given us a lot of green to play with. So those are the monochromatic color schemes. And those also exist already in Minecraft. Quite a bit, actually. All of these are examples of a monochromatic color scheme already implemented into block form in Minecraft. So, you've heard me talk about hues and shades and tints, but what does that actually mean? Well, a hue is the purest form of a specific color, is kind of. A tint would be to add white or some sort of light variant to your hue, and a shade would be to add black or some sort of dark variant to your hue. So, shades, hues, and tints can be used in really interesting ways to create a monochromatic color scheme like those over there. And also you can make some really cool gradients if you want to have atmosphere in your build. So you want part of your build to look lighter and have more lights in it, and you want to have other parts of your build look more mysterious and dark. You can add shades to the hue of your overall build. And this can be done with just about every color ever. This is purple concrete with blue terracotta and light blue terracotta as the shade and tint respectively. And even though they're not all blocks that are called purple, they are all purple. So you create this really awesome purple gradient, which I use a little bit later on. This can also be done with neutrals. So you have gray stained terracotta, white stained terracotta, and brown stained terracotta. And they create a really cool gradient of almost like cappuccino browns. Which most of the time we use a lot of neutrals in building in Minecraft. So that could also come in a lot of handy. So how can we use all of this mess in our builds? Well, let me show you. The first color scheme we talked about was a complementary color scheme, and I pointed out that Christmas colors tend to bring out the best in each other. And this I tried to build without it being too Christmassy, but it's a lot of red and green. And as you can see, the red and the green kind of make each other pop. There's even red in my ceiling, and there is some neutrals scattered throughout. We have logs and some shelving and some gray in the walls, but for the most part, almost everything is red and green. Even our neutrals have some red and green in them. So, as you can see, your reds kind of pop a bit more next to greens, and you can create kind of a really homey sort of feel with this, actually. I really enjoy it. So, that is the practical application of a complementary color scheme in Minecraft. So I think the next one we talked about was analogous. Don't look at that, don't look at it, we're coming to it. And an analogous is three colors that are adjacent to each other. So I chose to do orange, yellow, and red, or I guess it would be red, orange, and yellow. I don't know. In a analogous color scheme. I don't know that I would actually build this in particular in a Minecraft world, but you can kind of see how the colors would go together and create a somewhat dynamic feel to your build, as opposed to if everything was made out of sandstone or you did sandstone and just red sandstone, which sandstone and red sandstone together as just those two would be a diachromatic color scheme that actually does look pretty cool. But the other thing I talked about is a monochromatic, oh, I've run into my build. A monochromatic color scheme which is all one color with different tints and shades. So I chose to make a really cool nether portal. A lot of people do this to give kind of a cool organic shape to their nether portal, so not everything is all square and blocky. And it's a lot of fun to kind of make it look like the nether is escaping, sort of. And the fun fact about obsidian is it's actually purple. It's not really, I mean, it has a lot of black in it, but the highlights are all purples. So you can make a really cool monochromatic color scheme with purples around your nether portal. And I've created this. Ta-da! Even used mycelium. I think it looks pretty neat. A lot of glass panes. But that's my monochromatic color scheme, and I think it looks pretty cool. So moving on, I did another interior because I quite enjoy doing interiors, and this was the split complementary color scheme that I said looked a little bit like something you would see on HGTV. So I kind of created an HGTV style house. So I chose to do teal, this purpley color, and orange. And what happens, or tends to happen with split complementary, is that you have two colors and then an accent color. So I chose to use orange and yellow as a combination for my accent color. So I have it in my backsplash in my kitchen. It exists in the lamps and the curtains and also in my chairs over here, and kind of sorta even in the plates and the cake and all that. So, and then we have the purple as wall colors and the teal. And my kitchen is very modern looking and even has working cabinets. So that would be my interpretation of a split complementary color scheme in Minecraft. And there are other wheel-based color schemes. For example, there's triadic, which is three colors that are evenly spaced across your color scheme, or your color wheel, I should say. So if you made an equilateral triangle, that would be a triadic color scheme. So I think that would be probably, I mean, my color wheel's really weird because Minecraft. But I think that would be probably a triadic color scheme. We also have a tetradic, which is a uh, rectangle, I believe. So if we did this guy, this guy, this guy, and something like that would be a tetradic color scheme. And then there's also just a square color scheme, which is where you would have this widened up a bit and make a big old square. This works a little bit better when you're looking at an actual color wheel, as opposed to my, Franken color wheel here. But those aren't as commonly used. You'll see those more in like fine art or, graffiti type stuff. But for the most part, those aren't really used practically. So those are what I have for you as far as color schemes in Minecraft and how to use them. I would love to do a video on neutrals and how you can use neutrals in your build, and also how you can combine neutrals with bright colors, which is usually how I tend to build. So if you like this video, please let me know. Give me a like so I know to make more. And if you want to see something where I interpret neutrals and how you can build neutral tones in Minecraft, which is kind of the most common, but it's still fun to play around with, please let me know. And any questions or any of your favorite color combinations in Minecraft, I'd love to hear them. So please give me a like. If you want to see more of my stuff, I'd love it if you would subscribe. And I hope to see you real soon.